The following podcast contains real reviews and the ridiculous reactions of two would-be oracles of the internet. The opinions expressed and presented are mere musings, so please humor their hijinks with a laugh and not by taking anything they say seriously. Seriously.
Hello and welcome to ReviewParty.com. I'm Brent.
I'm Matt.
This podcast, we got reviews on it. We got reviews from the internet, from places like Amazon, Kmart.com, Yelp, IMDb, Kohl's.
Ooh. Google, Amazon, kind of also.
Keep them in the spotlight. People do be talking about those. But I don't know, something about Kmart.com reviews really changed the game.
Can't go wrong.
If you're listening live, this is the between Christmas, before New Year's Death Week that I believe this is dropping. You're probably listening to this in your own personal void, so I hope we can take you out of it or push you even further into it, whatever you're looking to do here.
Just pull that blanket up over your head a little tighter.
And scream. Turn the headphones all the way up, pull the blanket over your head, and just start screaming. That's how to optimally enjoy this episode. Matt, you want to start us out this week?
Yeah, I got an interesting one. It feels pretty wintry. Which we had a dusting of snow recently, but it's not too snowy where I am. But that apparently wasn't the case a year ago, because I've got a Google review of the AmericanInn by Wyndham Grafton in Grafton, Illinois. It's a hotel in nowhere, Illinois. This is a review from John Emery. John writes, I am sad to say that we had to call this hotel from a ditch, as we got stuck in a snowstorm on the way to the location. We called to cancel the reservation as we weren't able to make it to Grafton. The person who answered the phone was far from sympathetic. Indeed, although we were in a vulnerable situation, this person felt abusive language was appropriate. I wish them the best, as they must have been having a bad day. 1 star.
I think usually, almost 100% of the time, we are employee side takers in customer service situations. But you know, even airplane lines, the greediest motherfuckers we got to deal with in our sad little lives, give you a refund for that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. The acts of God and such. And maybe the hotel's policy, absolutely no refunds within 24 hours. Maybe the person's manager harks on them for that, and they were just having that difficult conversation then to avoid that even more difficult conversation with their manager, where their job is on the line later. You have to give them that
I'd rather have an unpleasant conversation with this rando I'm never going to see versus an unpleasant conversation with my boss who I see every day.
But let's take a step back, look at the reality of the situation a little bit. Person's having just about the worst day you can have. Right up there with them.
I'm in a ditch right now. I don't think we're going to make it.
The one time I've been in a ditch on the road was actually after I let you into the improv club. I'm pretty sure.
I think I remember this.
If memory serves, I was studying abroad the semester that you tried out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I came back. I was not at school, but I came back to do the auditions with the homies, let in the new group before I jet set it off to Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now it all feels like it's yesterday when I'm talking about it. But I was in my dad's truck. There was a snowstorm. Maybe I was feeling overconfident with the 4-wheel drive, going down the highway. Just wanting to get home after a long couple days of screwing around and jokey improv. And I spun out and ended up in the ditch. And even though the truck was fine, even though I got towed out of a little bit later at an affordable price by a nice guy, it was still one of the most nerve-wracking experiences of my life, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And to add on, like, oh my God, someone is expecting me within the hour. There are expectations on me. I just had to get home. It really didn't matter when. So yeah, it's just so stressful, man. You can't do that to somebody.
Yeah, I wonder what the abusive language was. Because that feels a little like that's just beyond them just going like, oh shit.
Right? How? Because I feel like you can't swear at customers. That's just like a no. So what? It had to be kind of extreme in its politeness or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Did he call him a freaking idiot? What are you, an idiot? One time when I worked at the hotel, I did ask a lady, do you have a problem with authority figures? And she got so mad. And right after she got mad, I realized, oh, she doesn't recognize me as an authority figure. She thinks she's the authority figure. So this is like, I really strike a chord. I was an instrument of karma in that moment. I really felt like that lady needed to hear that. Looking back on it, I was like, I said exactly what that lady needed to hear to get as pissed off as possible.
Sometimes you need a cold slap in the face of perspective to really understand you aren't the center of everyone's universe.
Let's see what kind of reviews I got here. I was going to say I should get someone who's not... Okay, I do. I should get someone who's not grumpy. I almost thought all my reviews were grumpy reviews, but no, there's this one. From IMDb, I have a review of the new musical Wicked.
Ooh.
Well, the very old, not very old musical. Sorry if I offended anyone.
20-year-old, something like that.
Oof. It really is. The unslowing passage of time will never cease to inspire wicked emotions within me.
Yeah.
Just like Not So Mighty, IMDb user, they title their review, I Wanted to Hate It.
Why?
This is the 2024 movie. Every time we've been to the cinema in the past few weeks, the Wicked trailer came on and my wife got childlike giddy because she loves the show, and I've thought, oh God, that's one of those I have to sit through. To be fair, she sits through most of mine moments. So I've been counting on the days and dreading, and when I heard the runtime, I was even more distraught. I wanted to hate this movie with every bone in my body for a few reasons. 1, not a fan of musicals, but I can grimace through them sometimes. 2, I love Wizard of Oz in its purest form and didn't want the legacy of it spoiling. 3, my wife's choices of films are more often than not, quote-unquote, questionable. 4, 2 hours plus in a cinema seat these days doesn't do my back any good at my age. 5, Ariana Grande. Now, being a realist, my first impression of the movie might be a little offset because I went with such low expectations. And I've done this before on numerous occasions, but call me a softie in my old age. I'm 47. I absolutely loved it. Everything from the phenomenal soundtrack, set design, makeup, costumes, comedy elements, character design, etc. I could go on. You get the gist. It was brilliant. I may even be watching again, the highest accolade I can give for a 2-hour-plus movie. I can't wait for part 2. A few purists have got their complaints and gripes, which will always be on adaptations of previous pre-loved formats. But no complaints here, just a very good, well-made movie. Wizard of Oz's legacy intact. One more point. Ariana Grande steals it for me. Perfect casting, 8 out of 10.
Oh my God. This guy seems insufferable.
Not only is he insufferable, now he's an insufferable Ariana Grande fan.
Yeah, like I was big on Ariana back in the Victorious days. I've fallen off a bit since then.
She's got some bangers. You know, the Ring
got
song?
some songs, yeah.
I'll leave that on the radio every time. Do I want to hang out with her? Probably not.
Probably not going to have much to talk about.
Yeah, maybe, I can't really ask her about her, like, ex-boyfriends and stuff. That would probably suck. But those are...
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'd talk to her about beat machines. I imagine she makes the beats, helps with the beats.
Oh,
we
yeah.
could talk about that.
That's cool stuff.
Talk about the set of Wicked here and what Not So Mighty thinks about it.
Yeah, this guy, oh my... Like, at first blush, why is your little butthole clenching when you see that your wife is getting giddy and excited for something?
Yeah.
Why is your first, like, instinct to, oh no, here she goes again being happy?
Yeah, it's this guy's what? We could say an elderly millennial at 47.
Yeah, 47 and you're complaining about your back. Dude, you're not that old.
You're not that old. He's simultaneously like acting like an old curmudgeon and also like at the same time citing reasons that like old curmudgeons like get mad at kids for doing stuff. You can't sit through a 2-hour runtime. What are you, an iPad kid? You can only watch this movie at the kitchen table on an iPad while you're eating you're picking at your chicken nuggets.
Do some yoga. Your back will be fine, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's some uncomfy movie seats, but honestly, these days, I think movie seats
by and
are
large, pretty
nice.
cush.
Yeah, they really upgraded pre-COVID era just in time to get in debt.
And the legacy of the Wizard of Oz. I'm sorry, have you seen Return to Oz? Do you know what horrid nightmare that is? Even if it is potentially accurate to the source material, it's still trippy.
And Wizard of Oz is a book by Roald Dahl. Am I correct in saying that? Or
no.
No, it was just the movie? No, by Frank Baum.
Yeah.
Baum?
I don't know.
I don't know what else he's got going on, but I imagine knowing Hollywood, especially back in the day, they didn't care too much to care about how the adaptation was.
The slippers are supposed to be silver because it was a commentary on silver and its value in America, the silver standard. But Ruby looks better on camera, girls.
And what I know about the Wizard of Oz productions, if there was any sort of class allegory going on in that movie, it very much does not matter with the total evils of that Hollywood production that was going on. Yeah. To me, the legacy of Wizard of Oz is like Hollywood will abuse its employees given the chance.
Right, you'll paint them in toxic paint. You'll make sure they're hooked up on drugs so they continue acting.
The Cowardly Lion was like fainting, right? Because of how hot his was. And yeah, don't get me started on Tin Man. So a nice movie, but man, you gotta look at the world around you a little bit, my dude.
I just can't bear with I wanted to hate it.
Yeah.
There are some projects where I've questioned the intent or the necessity of the movie. But why would I want a movie to be bad? Why wouldn't I just want to be totally blown away? I love the Ocean's movies. So when I saw Ocean's 8 coming out, I was like, why do we need a...
Sure.
We had 3 movies, 2 of which were really good. One was kind of mid. So why do we want to tempt fate again? Especially without George Clooney.
Yeah. So what you're saying is the worst of prospect of a film existing can get from you is really?
Yeah, do we need this? But blow me away, prove me wrong. I'm excited I want it to be great.
And the really is a much more normal reaction than this exists to cause me vitriol.
Yeah, I don't know anymore. It's easier to choose joy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot more fun in life.
Mr. Flippy Flopper flipped like a pancake and rolled over for this movie.
Yeah, I hope.
I can't wait for the sequel. Okay, buddy. You don't know what you like.
Really dug in with your moral standards that you put out for us. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know we covered it basically, but not a fan of musicals. My wife's choices in films are questionable. Like, How does this woman hang out with this guy? He must have a nice job.
Yeah. Fixes a nice steak dinner.
People with cush jobs have plenty of time to have shitty opinions. Do you have a review?
Yeah, I got a different movie review. I'm jumping over to Letterboxd. This is a Letterboxd review for Bionicle 2: Legends of Metru-Nui.
We're in.
Yeah, man, this one was too good to just post to the Instagram right away. I don't know if we'll have much to say about it, but we'll at least have a little bit. This review comes to us from Statue of Ethan. Statue of Ethan writes, "The moment Hollywood discovers the untapped potential of giving Bionicle a movie animated in the style of the original comics, but stylized like Spider-Verse, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, or TMNT Mutant Mayhem, ... That's the moment I will achieve my final come. 5 stars.
Oh, Lord. like a honeybee, right? They sort of do their thing, and that's their last hurrah every time.
Yeah, the last breath, as it were.
You sure this one's not called Bionicle 2: Legends of Metru-Nui? Legends of Busta-Nui?
People are passionate about Bionicle still, somehow.
Right, you can't help but be charmed by the aggressive love for Bionicle.
And honestly, the only reason, well, aside from the capital F, capital C final come note, I do think it's cool that people are so in on movies animated like Spider-Verse, TMNT Mutant Mayhem. I haven't seen that Puss in Boots, but I saw what it looked like.
It still looked like a DreamWorks movie, but they finally sauced it up a little bit. I feel like the Puss in Boots, they finally added some juice. DreamWorks
ruffled its hair up a bit.
Yeah, DreamWorks sort of changed the game with Shrek and then stopped changing the game at all. They sort of they rewrote the rule book and said, we're not changing this rule book at all. And then, Shrek, even though it was ahead of its time, those mud physics are great. It just hasn't aged well. But yeah, I think Puss in Boots, all these really stylized 3D animated movies are going to age very well because they stopped caring about how realistic it looks and started caring about how good it looks.
Yeah, make it look fun.
Yeah, make it look fun. Make there be visual jokes. The whole point of animation is you can do stuff that you can't do on screen. So do it. Get done. But I have to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the Bionicle has legs like those franchises do.
I have to think the Bionicles don't.
I do not think I can't see a world where a big Hollywood company can justify the kind of budget those very hard to make animated movies are.
For every Lego Batman or just Lego movie, there is I'm almost sure released straight to video.
Yeah.
Ninjago 2, Ninjago 3.
Bionicle fans listening, we're not comparing you to Ninjago here. You obviously have domain, cultural domain over the Jagos for sure. We respect, this is with all due respect to the very cool Bionicles. I am down with it. But yeah, I don't know. Lego movies are very popular. Pharrell is getting his own Lego movie, but I don't know if Lego Power Rangers, I don't know if does it have the brand recognition? Yeah, us aging millennials look back fondly on our very cool Power Ranger Lego toys with the rare masks. Definitely. They're very sweet character designs. They got different swords, and these movies are very cool and very beloved that we're talking about. But I don't know. I want it. I would love it. If I heard Sony Animation Studios is making a Bionicle, I'm in, man. I'm there opening weekend supporting y'all's business.
I would say, do we need this? And then I'd say, let me be wowed.
I would say, we do not need this, but I am going to pay $20 to see what the hell is going on for sure. Do you have any Bionicle memories before we move on?
I just remember them being like, you'd get the mini ones at McDonald's. And I don't know if they actually are Bionicle or not. I want to say they are Bionicle, but I got these like 2 dog beasts. They came in a set, and they were some of those where, and even Bionicles could do this. They'd have like the gears on the back where you'd spin it and they'd swing their sword arm. Yep. But these dog beasts, you'd like squeeze their bodies and they would lunge forward and their mouths would snap shut. And I just hork with those all day long.
I had a buddy who was really into, he's in the Bionicle scene. I wonder if he's still kind of on it because he's a model painter now.
Okay.
But he knew the lore. He had a box of masks. You could grab a mask and show him a mask, and he'd tell you about like what. That's the mask of Chumbawamba. It provides great strength and fire element +5, and that shit was cool. I remember the little pods they came in.
Mm-hmm.
One of those toys where like the experience starts at like seeing it at the store. You feel like you're rescuing an ancient warrior from his demise, you know? Yeah, it gets you in. I can see how people get into it. You know, you get excited. I don't think they were too expensive, so you could have a big, cool collection of guys just for you. I'm going to send, maybe I'll edit this out, but I'm going to send Matt a cool comic book cover since they mentioned the comic book cover.
Oh, that is cool. Dark, brooding, sick.
It looks like Bionicle #1 variant I'm looking at. 2003 this came out.
TMNT vibes, that grungy nature to it.
Yeah, I think so. A lot of the art style looks very like Transformers comics, but not in a bad way. Looks pretty cool. But I think we're going to take a break, play with our Bionicles.
Yeah.
Metru-Nui.
Hey everybody, thank you for listening to our lovely little podcast. If you'd like to go above and beyond in supporting our show, or have the most fabulous conversation starter since sliced bread, go to reviewparty.com. Click on shop and explore some fabulous t-shirt designs.
Where's your favorite place to wear a t-shirt?
On my body.
Mine is at the store.
That is a good place to wear a t-shirt. Reviewparty.com. Click shop.
Why stop there?
Don't stop now.
Don't stop me now, because I'm buying a t-shirt. I'm buying a shirt.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second half of the episode, and welcome to Apple rankings.
Oh, we're back.
God. AppleRankings.com. You can go on there. You can read about a bunch of apples. You can read about one man's opinion of them and his unique proprietary ranking system. Each page also has a comments area where people will either say you're wrong or on a particular apple here. I might just save this for its own separate discussion because it goes some places. I'm gonna save the Autumn Glory apple for next time. It's gonna have maybe a special. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna start with one we didn't do last time because it's one of my not favorites, but I appreciate it when it's right. If it's too overripe, it's soft and mealy and disgusting. But I'm talking about the golden, delicious apple.
The golden. I have mixed feelings about this apple, so I'm kind of curious to see where it brings me.
He pseudonyms it the West Virginia Has-Been.
That's fitting. That one's fitting, at least. We're starting off good.
He writes, the official state fruit of West Virginia, this green-yellow beauty saw its heyday in the Progressive era when marketed by the Stark Bros as a companion apple to the then blockbuster smash hit Red Delicious. 100 years later, with our collective distaste for the Red Delicious fully realized, this ill-fated adopted brother may as well be called the Golden Bin Laden. Fortunately for consumers who have rightfully shied away from this fading memory of an apple, the mushy, bland, juiceless Golden Delicious doesn't bring much to the table, aside from fathering better apples and having a nice-looking exterior fit for a 2013 U.S. postal stamp. Bonus points, +1 for baking, +1 for historical significance, +1 for cider. It is the number 8 ranked cider apple, number 6 ranked baking apple. Its overall review out of 100 is 33, which lands it in the bracket of horse food.
I could see, we'll start off with nice things. I could see it being a very nice cider apple. It does sort of have that straightforward apple sweetness.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a little bit of zing, not as much as a Granny Smith. I could get down with that. Ooh. I thought of the Apple Raider when I was at Woodman's the other day. Mm-hmm. Woodman's Midwest grocery store. It's kind of like Costco, except instead of just having deodorant A and deodorant B, they have deodorant A, B, C, X, Z, and they have every size SKU of every product. It's crazy. But they have Honeycrisp cider. Specific, and it's just like cider, but more expensive. And I was like, I bet that's justified. I'll try it. So thinking in cider terms is interesting. But yeah, I don't think I'd ever. You see a bushel of assorted apples, I'm never picking that yellow, that golden bastard.
The first comment here, and someone says, if you get them from an orchard, they are juicy, sweet, and as the name implies, delicious. And I'm thinking that's pretty much the only time I will. Like if I'm at an orchard where I don't need to take it home with me necessarily, but I can have like 3 bites, that's when I'm having my Golden Delicious for the year.
Yeah, that checks out because I feel like some of the best apples I've had are Golden Delicious, and some of the worst apples I've had are Golden Delicious.
Yeah, they can be mealy and tasteless. But hey, let's move on to the Candy Crisp apple review. I don't know if I've had a Candy Crisp.
When I was working in produce, I did try a Candy Crisp.
We'll see if this tracks then. It's pseudonymed a pear-cucked Red Delicious. He writes, the phenomenally named Candy Crisp apple out of Marlboro, New York, lives up to its name with an astounding crunch, uncommon juiciness, and, if ripe enough, diabetic sweetness. The only problem with this pink-blushed, yellow-green fun lump is that it tastes like a pear. Not even a great pear, an unripe, less juicy pear that's been foolishly stored in a refrigerator drawer, fated to eternally harden next to a forgotten onion. In fact, if you cut up a Candy Crisp apple and an unripe Bartlett pear, it would make for an incredibly difficult CAPTCHA test. Nothing against pears, but this half-blood, potentially cucked Red Delicious is basically akin to false advertising. It nets a 69 out of 100, mediocre.
I don't really like pears. I don't remember getting that note.
Yeah.
Did you get a cross-contaminated pear apple orchard situation?
He might have done.
Because what I remember it being, like too sweet. I just remember thinking like, oh, these are sort of small and hard to chew. Even though the crunch is nice, I would rather just have a Honeycrisp. But that's like my my personal apple reviews these days. This is fine. I just am going to get a Honeycrisp though.
You've mentioned Honeycrisp. This next apple is the offspring of Honeycrisp and the Zestar. We are going to the tippy top with the Sweetango apple review, pseudonym The Holy Grail. Selectively bred to snap like a sweet piece of celery, this apple, available only in September and October if we're lucky, in certain supermarkets, is the best apple ever to grace the world of gods and men. A gifted child of the spectacular Honeycrisp and elusive Zestar, this nearly immaculate treasure that inspires poetry was blessed with the greatest qualities of both its parents, but manages to avoid any of their unfortunate flaws. If this was the apple that tempted Eve in the Garden of Eden, I wouldn't blame her. For the taste of just one sweet tango is worth living through 1,000 painful childbirths. The one downside of the sweet tango, other than needlessly lopping off the T from sweet to form the repulsively frolicsome word swee, is its paltry robustness. Get these apples before November 1st, or you'll be cursing my name as you bite into a hollowed-out balloon of an apple. And if in the Western Hemisphere, don't be fooled into buying the New Zealand sweet tangos in the winter. They can't handle the trip. Gets 2 bonus points for taste, 1 for Christmas, 1 for flesh. This sucker, is pretty maxed out on everything other than availability. It nets a 97 out of 100, nearly perfect.
Have you had sweet tangos?
Don't know that I have.
I do not fuck with sweet tangos at all.
No.
Sweet tangos to me are, I forget which apple he's talking about, where it's like everyone says these are great, but they just suck. They're just to me, they're just new age red and delicious.
Oh no.
The flavor is watery, the fucking, the skin is waxy, the taste is nothing to write home about. It's just like the new plain, the new normal. I don't really mess with it.
Wow. Okay. I think we've got time for just one more. This is one I thought about bringing before, but there's just so many apples out there. But I think we will end today with the Arkansas Black Apple.
This one I've never heard about.
It really just looks like it's the dark red of a Michigan cherry.
Oh, yeah, that plum. It looks like a plum from a distance.
It looks like a plum. He says the pseudonym in the first sentence, so I'll just read the sentence. This teeth-shattering oddity, there it is, boasting a deep red hue that'll make a dark cherry look like a fluorescent glow stick, will destroy your helpless mouth with every unfortunate bite. A 10 out of 10 on the Mohs hardness scale, this apple would perform admirably as a drill tip in a diamond mine. While true, the hardness marginally decreases if left in your refrigerator for a full year, those patient enough to plan lunch into the next decade will be sorely disappointed with a thick-skinned carbuncle that tastes and feels like an uncooked russet potato. Truly despicable. Netting it a 23 despicable rating.
Gotta be a good baking apple,
I must
though.
also note that there's the section I think I mentioned last time we did this. He says you can eat these apples instead and gives recommendations. And then there's a section that this apple is better than. So like if you're somewhere in the middle, you're like, oh, this is where it sits compared to those other apples. The only thing listed under Arkansas Black is better than is one bullet point. Eating a rock.
Yeah, just the looks of these on the trees that I'm seeing on Google Images, it just looks made for like a horse to come up and take a bite.
Tough.
You could use this in the when the farm's got the baseball field out back. You could use this for the softball in a pinch. Just paint it a little bit. You'd have to paint it so you can see it in the batter's eye, I guess. Maybe you just have to peel it. All you gotta do is peel it, get the skin off there. Yeah.
That's a nice good point.
Baseball color. Oh, if you're really cool, you could leave the skin on 2 stripes for the grips.
Stitching.
Yep, that would go crazy. The knuckle on this thing is crazy. Well, thanks for bringing us back to the apple orchard.
Oh yeah, it's a fun place.
It is a fun place. It's good to go someplace where the reviews are going to have a little sauce for you.
Yeah.
Speaking of sauce, that's not a segue that works at all. But
applesauce.
Applesauce to PlayStation sauce from Amazon. PlayStation 2, Slim Console, PS2, renewed, it says. I hope that means refurbished.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, let's hear from Tom what this old PS2 is offering. Arrived in good order. Only worked for 10 minutes. This PS2 Slim looked clean and came with everything. Sadly, it came with a mismatched power cord, which did not fit the power converter. Luckily, I had a cord that worked. It seemed to be a solid working console. I read all my discs, no problem. It seems it was a French-European model, so it didn't have English in the navigation screen. Still, not a deal breaker for me. Started playing my first game on it, and after about 10-15 minutes, it just stopped. No power. Well, for $179.76 USD with tax added, I expected a lot more. I couldn't figure out how to get an exchange, so I opted for a refund. I don't fault Amazon, as this kind of thing happens. Many folks who ordered this same product have been very happy. 2 stars.
Well, that's very generous of you to... I don't know, I guess not be angry? I don't know. It's still a 2-star review. Yeah, what?
Yeah, when I love, like, the asterisks, like, hey, the staff didn't do anything wrong. You know, everyone's cool. But this is just a nameless, faceless Amazon refurbished, overpriced flip thing. You don't gotta be that nice.
Feel free to punch away. I'm not gonna hold back. These sons of guns sold me a piece. You gotta test this... your refreshed garbage and before you foist it on me.
No kidding. There's machines you can hook them up to and put them through the little the motions, so to speak. I don't know how they work with PlayStations, but like when companies make keys, they have the machine that simulates like 10,000 key uses in 20 minutes to see if it can last. Surely got to be something like that.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like they did that. Otherwise, they would have noticed, oh, these power cables aren't correct. But man, you'd hope they'd have it running for like an hour before shipping it.
And I think we got to address the price, right?
Yeah,
I get it. We live in a time where the used game industry is
flourishing.
Not in a good spot. Yeah, flourishing.
Not necessarily in a good way, but...
Right, not a good spot for us. They're doing okay. But yeah, $179.76 for a console that is over 20 years old. I don't think I'm mistaken.
I don't think you are.
And yeah, I know like the PS1 games be $100 now, but man, you can find a better deal than that from a reputable local dealer. Is my thing.
Get yourself to like a whatever it is near you, the disc replay games, even GameStop kind of sort of is having a retro section where every store in a region just sends their retro stuff to one store and they've got some stuff. Go to a Half Price Books, they'll have some stuff.
Yep. The thing is, the local guys will take care of you more than the GameStop will, but even GameStop is, you go in with some refurbished thing and it's not working, they're going to hook you up. They're going to get you that refund. They're going to replace it, whatever you want. No bungus.
No Amazon.
The dude behind the counter in the local game shop with the receding hairline and the old metal t-shirt and the cell phone holder on his jeans. He is going to be like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Let me give you this even newer PS2 that's like better than the one you purchased."
He wants it to work just as much as you do.
Yeah, exactly. He's a fan. He gets the frustration of getting home and not being able to play your game. Not this faceless like Amazon drop shipping subsidiary, man.
Blech.
Ain't gonna work. And I think there's the guy knew he was gambling a bit, but you didn't have to pay that much to gamble on this, I think.
No.
You got a quickie to send us off here to get us out of here before we end? Whatever words you want to say.
Yeah, I might end up posting this to Instagram on a 1-star Monday at reviewparty.com, but we might as well start with the reviewer we ended. Let's switch that around, Matt. We might as well end this main section with the reviewer we started with, John Emery, years before he drove into that ditch. He went to Uncle Hugo's science fiction bookstore in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Okay.
And had this to say: rudest, least helpful, meanest sales staff ever. This bookstore is some bizarre wormhole of angst and spite. 1 star.
Weirdest comic book store clerk ever.
Yeah, at first I was like, that's an interesting review, but now that I reminded myself of what it was a review of, science fiction bookstore, it's totally makes sense.
Yeah, of course, someone being rude to you straight up is not good. If that was the case, I can't get out the benefit of the doubt backpack and hand it around, right? But I don't know, you go into these type of places, we're talking about the game store, the comic book store, the science fiction bookstore, you gotta kind of expect a nerd from a different time, a nerd with a little more confidence in their elitist opinions than what you might be used to these days.
They're just going to look over their glasses at you.
Yeah, I think a comic book store guy is entitled to be mad when you buy part 1 and part 3 of a run and not part 2 and part 4.
Yeah.
That's just you gotta be playing the game, speaking the language when you walk into those guys' domain, and I got nothing for respect for the old guard. Becoming a bit of one myself. Hey, that's reviewparty.com. Thanks for listening during this week of the void, or whatever week you enjoyed it. We got new episodes every Tuesday. That's right. #Tuesday Reviews Day. Go on and check it out. If you'd like to send an absurd review for us to muse over, please send an email with a hyperlink to the review or a screenshot, whatever you got to do. Reviewparty.com and gmail.com. Include a name or moniker or nickname, something. We got to let the people know who you are.
If you want to let us know who you are and just say, hey, or send us stuff some other way, I just said Instagram @reviewparty.com. Same thing for TikTok @reviewparty.com. Not the same thing for Twitter. That's @reviewpartypod. And I don't know if you call it Twitter anymore, but it's the same thing. Come on. We're also on Letterboxd and YouTube. You can search Review Party. You'll find us. Okay. Trust. And you know what else? You can find reviewparty.com. What are you going to find there? Blog posts, a shoppy shop, lots of blue, Johnny 5, and a little section that gives a nod to some boys that we adore. Who are they?
The Nosebleeds, my man. They let us use their wonderful jam bread for breakfast throughout the episode. If you want to hear more twinkle punk, Midwest emo, pop punk party, emo pop, fun time, drums, bass, guitar, you can search on Spotify, for example. Nosebleeds, one word. You'll find a bunch of their good stuff. Follow, subscribe, favorite wherever you listen. We are pushing YouTube a lot more, as Matt mentioned. You can find our whole library over there now.
Full episodes. What?
Absolutely. If any subscribes, likes there right now go a long way. But hopefully it'll go a longer way in keeping you entertained. Man, that was a cute little thing. I should just say that and then finish the episode. I have a last review to send us off here. It is from Letterboxd as well.
Okay.
This is for the 1980 The Return of the King, directed by Jules Bass and Arthur Rankin Jr.
Yes.
This is not the Banksy animated one. It's the one that's pretending to be the Banksy animated one. The review is by Griffin. They write, knowing the orcs can absolutely belt it out adds a whole new element of evil to the likes of Sauron. Who in their right mind would risk harmonization like that? 3 stars.
Where there's a whip, there's a way.